Good morning to all. Let us start the next lecture 4 of chapter Optics. Today I am going to cover the following topics: refraction through a prism, expression for refractive index of prism, dispersion, angular dispersion and dispersive power, blue color of the sky and red color of the sun. So let us start refraction of light through prism. Now this is a prism. These are the two refractive surfaces. Angle of the prism. The ray falling on the prism after refraction comes out through the prism. Now this is the triangular surface of the prism. The ray after falling on the one side, one refracting surface of the prism is refracted through the surface AC. N1 and N2 are the two normals on the side AB and AC. I angle of incidence, E angle of emergence. R1 angle of refraction at surface AB, R2 angle of refraction, or in fact here we will say that angle of incidence on surface AC. Now N1O normal N1 and N2 on extended meets at point O. The incident ray after refraction, if increased, and refracted final emergent ray is extended, they meet at a point, and the angle between these two rays is represented by del, which is the angle of deviation. In quadrilateral APOQ, look again, quadrilateral APOQ. Now angle A plus angle O is equal to 180 degree because angle at P and Q are 90 degree because of the normal, so remaining two angles is equal to 180 degree since N1 and N2 are normals. In triangle OPQ, R1 plus R2 plus O is equal to 180 degree. Sum of the three angles of a triangle 180 degree. In triangle DPQ, using exterior angle theorem, exterior angle del is equal to sum of the two interior angles, that is I minus R1 plus E minus R2, or we can say that del is equal to I plus E minus R1 plus R2. Now from equation 1 and 2, if you compare these two equations, you will get that R1 plus R2 is equal to A. Now from equation 3, putting R1 plus R2 is equal to A, this equation reduces to del is equal to I plus E minus A, or I plus E is equal to A plus del. Sum of the angle of incidence and angle of emergence is equal to the sum of angle of prism and angle of deviation. Now variation of angle of deviation with angle of incidence. Let us study it. Now if we draw a graph between I and del, we find the shape of the graph like this. That means, what could you find out from this? That when angle of incidence increases, the angle of deviation decreases. Angle of incidence, that is, this is the angle of incidence. So when angle of incidence I is increasing at lower point, the angle of deviation is this. The angle of deviation is decreasing, and at a particular point when I is equal to E, the angle of deviation it is minimum, and again after that, on increasing the angle of incidence, angle of deviation increases. So when angle of incidence increases, the angle of deviation decreases. At a particular value of angle of incidence, the angle of deviation becomes minimum and is called angle of minimum deviation. At del M, I is equal to E, and we can say that R1 is equal to R2 is equal to RC. So after minimum deviation, angle of deviation increases with angle of incidence. So using this, we can find out the refractive index of the material of the prism. we know that A is equal to R1 plus R2 and R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R. So A is equal to 2R and R is equal to A by 2. Also I plus E is equal to A plus del. I is equal to E, so we can write 2I is equal to A plus del M, or we can write I is equal to A plus del M upon 2. So according to Snell's law, mu is equal to sin I upon sin R1 is equal to sin I upon sin R, because R1 and R2 both are equal to R. Putting the value of I and R, we get the relation mu is equal to sin A plus del M by 2 upon sin A by 2. So this is the formula or the relation of the refractive index for the prism. Now refraction by a small angle prism for a small angle of incidence, that is, if A is very small and I is also very small, then what is the relation? Now mu is equal to sin I upon sin R1 and also mu is equal to sin E upon sin R2, means using the Snell's law for the first refractive surface AB and for the second reflecting surface AC. The relation is this. Since material of the prism is same, so mu remains same. Now if I is assumed to be small, then R1, R2 and E will also be very small. So replacing signs of the angle by the angle themselves, we get mu is equal to I upon R1, also mu is equal to E upon R2. So from here I is equal to mu R1, E is equal to mu R2. So I plus E gives you mu R1 plus R2 is equal to mu A, because R1 plus R2 is equal to A. In the previous slide we proved R1 plus R2 is equal to A, and also we have proved that I plus E is equal to A plus del. So we can say that A plus del is equal to mu A, or this relation reduces to del is equal to A mu minus 1. So del is equal to A mu minus 1. So refraction of by a small angle prism for small angle of incidence, this is a relation that angle of deviation is equal to A into mu minus 1. Now let us understand the dispersion of white light through prism. The phenomenon of splitting a ray of white light into its constituent colors or wavelength is called dispersion, and the band of colors from violet to red is called the spectrum, which is in order Vibgyor. So this is the prism. When the white light falls on it, it splits into 7 colors in the order Vibgyor. So angle of deviation for the each color. For red it is angle of deviation is del R. For the violet the angle of deviation is del V. And this is the normal. So we can say that mu V, refractive index for the violet color, is equal to sin I upon sin R V, and for mu R, sin I upon sin R for red color, means refractive angle of refraction for red color. Now since we know that angle of refractive index for the violet is greater than refractive index for red color, so from these two relations we can say that R for R is greater than RV, because if this is greater then mu R is smaller, this is smaller then mu V is greater. So the colors are refracted at different angles and hence get separated. Now dispersion can also be explained on the basis of the Cauchy's equation. Now according to Cauchy's equation, mu is equal to A plus B upon lambda square plus C upon lambda 4, where A, B are the constants for the material. Now since wavelength for the violet color is lambda V is smaller than lambda R, that is wavelength of red is maximum. So from the above Cauchy's relation we can say that mu V is greater than mu R. But del is equal to A mu minus 1. Therefore from this relation we can say that del V is greater than del R, that is deviation for violet is more than the deviation for red color. So the colors get separated with different angle of deviation. Violet is deviated most and red is least deviated. This is the reason for the dispersion. Now angular dispersion. The difference in the deviation suffered by the two colors in passing through a prism gives the angular dispersion for those colors. So difference in the deviation suffered by the two colors in passing through a prism gives the angle of dispersion for those colors. The angle between the emergent rays of any two colors is called the angular dispersion between these two colors, and it is the rate of change of angle of deviation with the wavelength. So angular dispersion phi can also be defined as d del upon d lambda, that is rate of change of the angle of deviation with the wavelength. Phi is equal to del v minus del r. Angular dispersion means the difference in the deviation suffered by the two colors. So del v minus del r is the angular dispersion. Or we can say that angular dispersion phi is equal to mu v minus mu r into A. Now dispersive power. Dispersive power of the material of a prism for any colors is defined as the ratio of the angular dispersion for those two colors to the mean deviation produced by the prism. Let us listen again. The dispersive power of the material of the prism for any two colors is defined as the ratio of the angular deviation for those two colors. Angular deviation, that is del v minus del r. Agar if we are taking violet and red color, then del v minus del r to the mean deviation produced by the prism, which is represented by del. So it may also be defined as a dispersion per unit deviation. W is equal to phi upon del, where del is the mean deviation and mean deviation is del v plus del r upon 2. So dispersive power W is defined as del V minus del R upon del. Or W can also be represented as mu V minus mu R into A upon mu V minus mu 1 into A, or A say A cancels. So it gives mu V minus mu R upon mu V minus mu Y minus 1. Now scattering of light, blue color of the sky and the reddish appearance of the sun at sunrise and sunset. So let us explain this. Why the color of the sky is blue, why the sun appears red during sunset and sunset. This is because of the scattering of the light. Now we know that in the atmosphere there are the molecules. If the size of the molecules is comparable to the size of the wavelength of the light, then the light is scattered on the basis of the Cauchy's theorem. The molecules of the atmosphere and the particles that are smaller than the longest wavelength of the visible light are more effective in scattering light of shorter wavelength than that of the longer wavelength. The amount of scattering is inversely proportional to the fourth power of the wavelength, that is the Rayleigh's effect. That is, scattering is proportional to 1 upon fourth power of the wavelength. Means the color whose wavelength is larger, that will scatter less, and whose wavelength is smaller will scatter most. Or in other words, we can say the red color, its wavelength is more, so it will scatter least, and the violet color scatters more. So the light from the sun near the horizon passes through a greater distance in the Earth's atmosphere than does the light received when the sun is overhead. So the correspondingly greater scattering of the shorter wavelength, that is violet, for the reddish appearance of the sun at rising and setting. So during rising and setting, the light has to travel larger distance, so most of the violet color is scattered, only the red color is remained there, so the sun appears reddish. But when we look above the sky, we are receiving the scattered light. So blue is scattered most, so sky appears blue. When looking at the sky in the direction away from the sun, we receive scattered sunlight in which short wavelength, that is violet, predominates, giving the sky its characteristics bluish color. So thank you. That's all for today's lecture.